Hello and welcome to Talking Sense, a Pittsburgh Works Together interview series featuring our region's most influential leaders. We'll get their perspectives on jobs, the economy, and other topics vital to Pittsburgh's progress. I'm Kelly Brennan, and on today's episode, I speak with special guest Jason Rigone, Director of Westmoreland County's Industrial Development Corporation. Jason shares about his role in planning and development, new projects, the PA Sites program, and Westmoreland County's success in growing manufacturing jobs. We hope you enjoy this insightful and informative discussion.
Jason, thanks for coming in today. We appreciate your insight. Westmoreland County has done a much better job of really growing manufacturing jobs than really any other place in the state. Why are manufacturing jobs so important to Westmoreland County?
Well, certainly it's been a tradition in southwestern Pennsylvania, but in Westmoreland County that manufacturing has been part of our DNA. Even if you go back, when the transition took place back in the 70s and into the 80s, where our manufacturing was, or employment was really strongly based on large-scale manufacturing, large steel, glass, the auto industry. And then all that took a tumble in the 80s, but we still felt that manufacturing was very, very important to us. My mentor and predecessor made the decision to start really emphasizing and focused on small and medium-sized manufacturing to build diversity into our economy, provide stability into our job and employment base. We made that transformation starting to build a number of industrial parks throughout the county to be able to support and grow those small and medium-sized manufacturing. Our organization now owns, controls, or is invested in about 20 different industrial sites throughout Westmoreland County that supports almost 200 companies that employ close to 10,000. So, you know, it's been an investment. How have we done it? It's been an investment and prioritization into manufacturing that started a long time ago and then has been carried forward to today.
So that transformation is what you would credit with why Westmoreland County really stands out above the rest compared to the rest of Pennsylvania.
I certainly think it's put us in a good position to continue to emphasize manufacturing as part of our a larger part of our economy. To give you some numbers, the state average in terms of, or percentage in terms of employment within manufacturing is at 11%. So 11% of all jobs are in the manufacturing industry. In Westmoreland County, we're at 13%. So we're higher than the average, and we're going to continue to focus on that. We're a blue-collar county, and we embrace that, and we're going to continue to embrace that in the future.
So regarding build manufacturing, there's new cutting-edge manufacturing going into what was once an Alcoa plant in New Kensington. Can you tell us more about what makes that specifically really such a special project?
Certainly. So Rebuild Manufacturing, which made their announcement last May, and I'd be remiss if I didn't really kind of point out Governor Shapiro, Senator Ward, Senator Pittman's support at the state level, helping us lock down that project, as well as our friends at the PRA and at the RIDC. What makes it special? There's a lot of things. I'd start with the fact that the company itself is a bit special. They're focused on cutting-edge technology, about reshoring manufacturing, as well as within the mission of that organization is that they went through an exhaustive site selection process nationally.
Okay.
Being that Pennsylvania and Westmoreland County was the winner at the end of the day, I thought it was interesting. But what's most interesting about the company is they could have went into a brand new building anywhere, right? That would have been relatively easy. They wanted, as a company, to focus on deindustrialized communities. New Kensington, where they, in the city of Arnold, technically they're in the city of Arnold, which is adjacent to the city of New Kensington.
Yes.
Where they went into was the old, as you had mentioned, the old Alcoa manufacturing facility, their original manufacturing facility, had seen years, decades of deterioration and disinvestment. In partnership with our organization, with the Regional Industrial Development Corporation, recently purchased that site from the city, who took a huge step forward and leap of faith to secure the property from a private property owner that had let the property go into the current state that it was in. But fast forwarding, our organization's taking control of the site really to reposition the property to be able to support and attracting companies like Rebuild. So our partnership's mission to reposition that property, but Rebuild also having built into their mission to only go into those types of communities to show that manufacturing can still be successful in a community that used to focus on manufacturing. And then I think at the end of the day, their goal is to hire as many local people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The unemployment rate in that area is higher than the county average. And so to be able to build opportunities for the local residents
Mm-hmm.
really shows what the company is trying to achieve. And we're certainly, and our partners at the RIDC are willing to partner and support that mission and make a difference in that community.
Like you said, manufacturing was in the DNA, and now you're looking for a way to keep it in the future, right?
Absolutely.
And you mentioned Governor Shapiro. So he has proposed $500 million to help develop new industrial sites in the state. What does that mean for Westmoreland County?
So very, very specifically, it's already having an impact. So to give a little bit of background on the program, PA Sites has already started with a pilot program, meaning that there's some seed funding that has gone in. I think they approved around $12 million that has already been awarded throughout the Commonwealth.
Okay.
Westmoreland County, through our organization, partnered with a private development. We were certainly very fortunate to secure $2.5 million to go to developing a new industrial site. But then the next phase of it is really where the key is where the Governor Shapiro's administration is looking to secure up to $500 million to prepare sites. We'll see when that happens. If that happens, that takes obviously a lot of advocacy and negotiations at through the Senate and the House to approve at the budget level. But technically, what does that mean at the ground level? Developing these sites, we live in southwestern Pennsylvania. We have a lot of hills and valleys. That's why we have a lot of bridges.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to develop those types of properties. It's very capital intensive. You can go to Ohio or Indiana, and it is as flat as can be. There's no earth moving, right? You can have a 300-acre pad site without doing anything other than extending some utilities. In southwestern Pennsylvania, that's not the case. We've got to conduct a lot of earth moving in order to create the sites and have them prepared, because if you don't, there's a long lead time to be able to get design done, permitting done, earthwork done. You're maybe a year or two out before the site's even ready to go. Companies aren't willing to wait that amount of time, number one. Number two, the importance of the funding. There's a risk associated with this. Organizations like us build sites like this. But it could be a year or two or three until we want to be patient. We want to find a employment-based company that's going to go in. And so we may have to be patient. And so being able to financially support organizations like ours to be able to address and develop sites is vital. So I think the investment that has been proposed, if done correctly, if funded correctly, can have significant impact. It's an investment into our future economy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's to come. So Jason, other than the PA Sites program and also the $500 million that has been proposed, what else can the state do to really attract economic development?
That's a very interesting question. If you ask me, there's two areas I would point out.
Okay.
Number one, I believe permit reform is very important. To be able to develop sites, it's great that we're putting out a lot of capital to develop sites, but there are still regulatory challenges that any developer has to go through in order to develop properties time effectively and cost effectively. So permit reform is number one. The governor bringing in Ben Kirshner to run their Office of Innovation and Technology was a great step. In fact, I saw he talked this morning at an event I was at, and I think that their way they're going about it, there's some real value there. Number two are business incentives. Nobody wants to pay a business. If we can invest only in infrastructure and workforce development, that would be wonderful. Unfortunately, other states aren't doing that. And so if we want to stay competitive for those large-scale projects that are looking nationally, we need to make sure that we have the programs and resources available to really be able to have a seat at the table. If we don't have a seat at the table, it's just you're just not going to be successful securing those large-scale projects. So those are the two things.
Jason, thank you for your time
Absolutely.
and for your expertise. We really appreciate you being here and for the conversation. Of course, thank you, our audience, as well, for listening in, and please stay tuned for our next episode.